Welcome out, gamers and gamettes, to this RGL.gg Invite Highlander match taking place between Froggieland and Yeye. I am Alto, joined by Zag to my side, Dolphin behind the camera as always. Zag, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Woke up like an hour before this, so I'm fresh and ready. And by that I mean I'm not, but we're still going to be into this anyway. We got product for you guys today. Froggieland versus Yeye. And for those of you who are wondering why we chose to cast this match over Hood Naruto Chinese Military Shovel, a couple things. One, that match is not going to be nearly as close as this one on paper based on the scrim results. And two, this match essentially decides who gets our fourth and final playoff seed.
Yeah, if you remember, all the way back in week one, after Yeye took that dominant upset victory, I would say, over Squirtye on Vigil, we were talking about how Yeye could be one of those teams to challenge for that final playoff spot, and here they are in a position where with assuming that there aren't any wacky upsets on CP Steel, which have been known to happen, but essentially the winner of this game is probably looking at that fourth seed in playoffs. So, Froggyland, we saw last week narrowly, and I mean narrowly, avoid or fail to complete their upset over 3,600, and now they'll have to come and, finish up business against Yeye here to lock themselves in as that fourth seed.
Yeah, normally what happens in these league type formats is if you beat who's below you, you'll be able to qualify for playoffs. You don't need the massive upset so long as you're consistent against the mid-table competition. And that's what Froggyland will be looking to do here. Secure this win against Yee, get themselves some match points, deny one of their direct competitions. And again, so long as nothing really out of the ordinary happens with the last three, like with three teams on the final day of Steel, we should be having Froggyland qualify. They just need to get through this one.
Yeah, and with that, let's jump into roster. On the side of Yeye, they will be having Dotwet on Scout, Nabla or Daffodil on Soldier, Pyrus on Pyro, Kura Beast on Demoman, Witness on Heavy, Austin on Engineer, Sakura on Medic, Michael PC1 on Sniper, and Jay-Easy on Spy.
And on Froggyland, we're going to be having Rebel on Scout, Catalyst on Soldier, Figsy on Pyro, DC on Demoman, Moist on Heavy, Nick on Engineer, Ray on Medic, the Sar on Sniper, and Jeebus on Spy.
And coming into this, we are playing this match on Koth product. A little bit unusual, I think, for this is probably the latest I think it's ever been played in RGL.
I feel like we've had a final week product before. I may be wrong.
Have we? I feel like RGL normally does stopwatch Koth, kind of alternating, just so that there's always a different mode every week. And with the 7-week seasons, that would lead to a stopwatch in, because Steel has been the last week match, or the last map of the season, as far as I can remember. But if you go far enough back, maybe that's not true. But regardless, we are on Koth product, the quintessential Highlander map, as many call it, especially due to the trifecta of Highlander classes, that being Scout, Demo, Sniper, tending to have a ton of impact on the map. So if we want to do some analysis into how we think these teams are going to work out, I'd say it's best to look at, those three classes, right?
Yeah, and for Froggyland, we have the trio of Rebel, DC, and Ray. They've been pretty stable throughout the entire season.
Sar?
DC in particular had a very, very good. Or yeah, Sar. Who did I say?
Ray.
Yeah, I looked one too high, but yeah. DC especially had a very good performance last week where he actually went toe to toe with the Devilman of 3600, and he had a really amazing job done on Swiftwater, and going on a product that's normally a lot easier of a map for Devilman to play, a lot more impact you can find as well. So if DC's able to kind of keep up that string of performances, he'll be very imposing here.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, I think, it should be said, right, that Froggyland are the favorites coming into this, especially given their performance last week. But Swiftwater was, Swiftwater and product is product. So I think a lot of eyes are going to be here on Michael PC1 and Jay-Easy to kind of take the lead here for Yeye. Make sure that they're always controlling a lot of space. Michael PC1 obviously through the more direct means of killing people, and Jay-Easy through keeping the Sar out of the game, who, as we saw last week, wasn't even when the Froggyland was winning, Sar wasn't a complete force in the server necessarily. Was able to find picks when his team needed them, but was not racking off some, like those 30 and 5 KDs you might see.
The Fallen Lord KDAs.
Exactly, yeah. So I think the Sar is definitely a spot that Yeye can target here. And if they're able to keep him down and let Michael kind of stand uncontested for a lot of it, some very good things could happen for them.
Yeah, another thing I want to look at in this map in terms of comparison is going to be that soldier role. We have Catalyst versus Nabla, and these are two very like long tenured soldiers in Highlander at this point. Both of them have no shortage of experience on product. Soldier players always are able to find those massive bombs. We're going to see them probably jumping on mids over to their opponents' China's, just getting a ton of pressure in from the back, cleaning up kills, doing big damage. It's going to be really interesting to see which one actually ends up finding more value. I think in general, Nabla is more aggressive than Catalyst recently this season, but that may flip on product where soldiers just really like going in.
Yeah, with the map being so small that, again, that kind of Highlander staple map, it's very easy to get behind and immediately start causing havoc, or to, so maybe you take the more passive approach, you pull out the Etni, the sit, and just sit on the shed or Highlander house and just, control connector and flank until your team needs you to jump in. So either of those are an option, and yeah, those are kind of going to be the other wild cards, because I think that, I mean, really bold prediction here, right? But I have a feeling that whoever sniper is able to control more space is going to be the early favorites to win this match. So when you think about who's really helping to shut down snipers, and it's normally sniper, spy, soldier are the three you'd look to on this map to really cause an impact on against that class.
Yep, and we do have all 18 players in the server just waiting on that final ready up. We're going to be going here in just a little bit. If you want to do some predictions real quick, Alto, I can go first. I'm pretty confident in Froggieland taking this one 4-1, something like that.
I don't think that's giving Yeye enough credit. I'm still unconvinced of SAR's, especially after last week, of SAR's ability to really dominate a team in the way that you'd want someone to. So I still think they're going to take it, but I'm going to lean more of a 4-2 to a 4-3. Let's just go 4-3 for the spice factor, even though I think that's probably going to be wrong. And I think that it's going to be DC and Rebel putting in a lot of work here in order to help them out. But we will be going live in about 30 seconds. So, Zag, first mid, what are your predictions? What do you want to see? Let's say out of Yeye, because we both have against them. What do we want to see out of them in order to, win that first mid fight and start the match off on the right foot?
I want to see a lot of aggression. I want to see them try and, early buffs Nabla, get tons of heals on Kirby's, and just walk across point, hopefully with Dot Wet in tow. Just trying to put a lot of pressure onto DC and winning the fight early. Because I think if the fight's going to drag on, we're going to see a lot of the angles and a lot of the damage come out of Froggieland, where they're able to actually find a ton of impact. So if Yeye are able to go fast, kind of interrupt the combo of Froggieland, I think that's their best bet.
All right, and with that, we are live. So, Yeye versus Froggieland, Week 6 Highlander, 4th playoff spot, pretty much on the line here.
They are fast.
Yeah, DC going through Valley, which is interesting. A little bit unconventional right now. As Spam going to be traded, not too much damage. Nabla in early through Connector, trying to get through, and Catalyst will be the first one down. Yeye on the Natasha, on that heavy, takes him out. And there's a ton of kills going in. There goes in Nabla over the top. In through main, gets onto China behind, but will be taken out by... That is an extremely passive mini from Nick. I don't know if that was intended or just an adaptation as they knew they were losing that mid. Austin's got a mini deep on concrete. So, that aggression you talked about, we saw it in spades.
Yeah, Kirby's there had a super fast rollout, took a fast jump all the way onto the point, got a sandwich from his heavy at rock that was actually crucial to keeping the fight's momentum up, and they were just able to output tons of damage before Froggieland could even get set. And when you interrupt them, don't let them get set, they're not able to actually contest points. So, first mid does go to
Look at Yeye! Oh, he was hiding! He was hiding on concrete, and he gets DC. Ray is forced to pop out this Uber, and it is so early. That is not a strong Uber. Sakura will be forced to use eventually. There goes in DC and Nabla. The skies are clear. The bombs are coming in, but Ray will not be caught. DC's going to back off. He landed on China, which was nice because it gave him the opportunity to maybe catch Ray up behind house, but also back out in case, there wasn't anything to be had. And we're a minute in, and it's been all Yeye so far.
Yeah, it was actually Kirby's jumping forward, Devilman for Yeye. DC got dropped at the start of that fight because of the flank from Heavy, their namesake Heavy. Took out the Devilman with pretty much a solo Uber onto Rebel, and when Scout takes solo Uber, doesn't have damage, but there's Sakura getting sniped by Sar from pocket. Cross that sideline it was too late to, and now we're going to see Froggieland be able to walk on point here. Sar gets a second onto Yeye, doubling up, but Ray goes down. Kirby finds massive pipes to even out that medic disadvantage. It's only 4 up for Yeye. They're going to chase down. At least they got the medic pick as consolation, but that's going to be the first capture of the game for Froggieland.
Yeah, Sakura will start healing a second or two earlier than Ray, so Ubers will be about even right here. But yeah, Sar coming in big, able to find those 2 big picks. Michael actually not yet having a point on the scoreboard right here. So we'll now see how Yeye deals with having to push right now. Jeebus getting in through main. We're probably going to be calling Yeye on concrete. The flank heavy on Natasha. Is that Natasha or is he? Yeah, that is still Natasha. Very interesting, but Kura's going to get stabbed out, so no demo should make this push a lot harder. Yep, and there go Nabla and Yeye, so that's 3 down for Yeye. Only the Sar dead. And Dotwick going down, yeah, this is not going to be able to be a push.
Yeah, we did see Mike PC1 win an early SVS there against SAR, but with those 3 picks going over in favor of Froggieland, that Demo Man stab being the biggest one, we are able to see them stabilize and hold this point. They're about to get their sniper back up and forward as well. So time going to be ticking down beneath 2 minutes for Froggieland. They're at about a 20% Uber dis ad. I'm not sure if they know about this, but we do see Michael and Pyrus drop early though, so disadvantage going to this Uber.
Yeah, they will use a cross. Both snipers dead in the start of it, but Ray will have time to get Uber in pocket right there. Not too many kills coming. They will find DC and Catalyst, but they'll lose Nabla and Jay for it as the scout fight on Rock. There is Ray popping.
Nice.
Got hit really low, but will not go down. Sakura gets stabbed out on the backside by Jeebus, though. Able to consistently come in and find these kills is Jeebus there. So, after a bit of a rough start, it looks like Froggieland has kind of found their bearing a little bit and have shown up a good defense here. A little bit of edging coming in from Dotwet. There goes fixing in DC though. Jay-Easy answering back, and looks like this is going to go over to Yeye.
Ray, was in a silent just there. Michael PC1 couldn't hit the fadeaway, so they're going to escape with their medic in tow. Froggieland have about a 10% ad to build on. They'll be able to get that one up in their spawn room. But yeah, time ticking into even, 1.5 minutes off the clock for both teams here. We see going up onto their opponent's cliff, trying to take some space, hold forward, because they know Froggieland's going to be waiting for this Uber here.
Right, yeah, and they do have about a 25% ad right here. 50 to 75 right now. There goes in Catalyst, and he's going to trade with Yeye, which honestly
isn't a trade. Yeah,
that's a good trade. If you can get it out the defensive heavy, that's really big. Rebel, though, going to go down. Michael finding a pick there. Really good to get that scout down, especially knowing that this is Uber ad for Froggieland. Jeebus going to get caught out this time as well. No picks for him.
Is he going for a drop stab? He finds SAR, so that's a big sniper pick going into this push. Now we see DC takes a solo Uber onto point, trying to do some damage. Pyrus is air blasting them back though. Uber comes out from Yeye, gonna be isolating DC, pushing him back into the side of Yeye. He will get taken down there, and no point presence at all gained for Froggieland. They're losing players in the back as well. A lot of damage going over. Figsy down to half HP. Nick is bleeding out. He misses. The arrow gets missed, and Nick might die, but they do get Yeye. Catalyst taking him down, so they are able to walk back in here.
Yeah, that aggressive heavy might not be the smartest, consistent hold strategy going forward, but I like seeing something a little bit different here, as, yeah, with the numbers advantage, we see Froggieland trying to get presence here. No cap time in yet, but the damage is coming through, slowly but steadily. That is going to be Kara trying to spam back, but will be getting hit pretty low. We're ticking right around into overtime, and they will be able to stall it for that. There goes Empyrus denying it. Nick will go down, but there is Kura and Sakura both going down to pick classes at the same time. DC and Catalyst traded back, though. Tons of picks going on, but it is Froggieland winning this fight. Yeye forced out onto concrete. He was one of the only survivors right there. But 1.5 minutes left on the clock for Froggieland. Overtime for Yeye. They're in a great spot.
Jeebus has been phenomenal this game so far. He's found 2 crucial medic picks in just round 1, able to get his team so many advantages in these fights. Getting full Uber right now for Ray. Soccer has to build up. Meanwhile, it's a minute advantage for the side of Yeye. They are into overtime, so 1 capture will do it for them, but they're going to be pushing into full Uber decide. Here's a decloak, here's a bomb in, trying to get damage done. Yeye, Jay-Z, Kura Beast all go down. Nothing going on that sack. One last player coming in. Nabla will trade for Catalyst. That's not exactly worth it. And Jeebus does go down in his decloak, so it's a bit of an even trade, but that sack does not go over. They're gonna have to wait for the next push.
If Nabla had been a little bit more synced with Kura, they might have gotten the force out there. But Nabla went really, really late, and Ray had already been out back cliff when Nabla went in towards main. So bit of a missync there that may end up costing them. Sakura at 70% though, so they should be able to take an even Uber exchange right now. As the SAR goes down, that is a great step.
But
DC's gonna find. You want that defensive sniper a little bit more though, but Nick and Jeebus also gonna go down. So the frags are in favor of Yeye, as does Rebel. They're up at 8v5 right now. Tons of damage out. Ray gonna be forced to use here, but Sakura can just tank Pyrus on point and air blast them off. This captain's coming in for free, and that's gonna be the first round going over to Yeye.
Froggieland made a crucial error there. It's even Ubers, right? You need to pop off on point. You need to pop forward and pressure Yeye so they can't get to the point. Instead, they opted to Uber as late as possible. They got off the point entirely and they dropped Rebel in it, so there was no way to actually get Yeye off the point once they got it on the first place. So just a bit too passive there from Froggieland. It's going to cost them the first round.
Another really aggro mid from Kura will catch a Rap Assassin though. That's gonna pushing back a little bit, but Michael finds Moist right off the bat. The heavy pick not often the first one. Kura finds DC, and Catalyst goes down as well. Sar will find Kura as a trade, but Michael takes him out right after, and it is another dominant mid-fight from Yeye.
Yeah, these fast, aggressive mids are working out super well for Yeye right now. Froggieland never able to get set and start doing their thing on mids, so another early cap goes over. Neither med dies, though, so we're going to have an even Uber exchange coming forward here. It's going to be about 30 seconds off the clock before we see Froggieland walking up here. They're at the house, going to try and take this trade and get into the round.
Yee's on this aggro barrel hold on concrete. He's going to be found out by Catalyst,
He's been doing this all game.
Yeah.
It stopped working. The magic's gone after one round.
Yeah, that trade onto DC on the first mid was great, but now that they know, there's really not that much that's worth. That's only good as a cheese play, but yeah, we will see Sar find Michael as well. So the Uber's going to come out to stall here. Ray will be forced to use in return. Now it's about getting Sakura safely out.
DC has stickies.
Will escape through main, finds Kura, but Sakura is out to spawn. So, about 45-50 seconds taken off the clock by Yeye right now. Ubers are even, and they're going to need to try to find some kind of pick getting back in. Jay-Z going down will not help that cause.
Sar standing on the window here, staring into main. He is spotted out by Dawit here, has to back up. But yeah, that kite was perfect from Froggieland. Didn't lose a single player in that exchange. They'll be able to hold it here. Time ticking down a bit. Catalyst is the first casualty, goes down to Michael on that angle, and Nabla trades to Jeebus. So neither soldier going to be alive here.
Ooh, but a lot of damage in on Rock. Sakura hit low. Took about 130 damage there, yeah. Yee ends up losing that. I think that's that Natasha in action. Jeebus on China going for the revolver kills. Not going to be able to find any damage onto Sakura yet. He's forced to drop down and maybe re-aggro. Yeah, going to hit more damage onto Pirates. Just being a nuisance right here as the time evens up. Nabla deep into connector. Going to find Nick and the Mini. So that should help just, you know, with the edging here. No wrangled Mini there. And Jeebus goes down to the Basher. Jay-Z will also go down as the Ubers are traded out on point right here. You know, way better presence for Yeye right here. DC gonna barely escape. Yeah, Nabla not able to find that kill, but a point comes back in for Yeye. But Sakura goes down in the post fight.
Yeah, that kite out was super good from Froggieland, considering they lost Rebel at the very start, right? So they just wanted to stall out, trade Ubers on the point, stall for a bit longer in time, and they did that. They might have lost players in the post, but that ending snipe onto the medic is going to give them an advantage moving forward here. They're able to recap, time about to tick into the advantage, and they're going to have a big Uber advantage here, about 60% once the charge starts going.
Right, yeah, so that'll be really, really big for them holding here, as they really want to even this match out. You do not want to drop down 2-0 or 0-2, I should say, in a match that could potentially determine whether or not you make playoffs, which seemed so likely after that match last week. But, you know, again, some early troubles here. The SAR's going to go down, though, so great counter snipe by Michael there.
Catalyst
should open up a lot of team. Yeah, he will go down, but Catalyst and, oh, Moist is super forward, too.
DC's bombing onto Sakura. Oh, not going to find the ending sticky, so that medic gets out alive. Yeah, there are casualties going over for Froggieland, losing SAR and Catalyst. They will be able to spawn up here. Now it's ×2 for Yeye. They have the advantage moving forward here into this re-push. Sakura is a bit low, but she is on 75% Uber. Bomb forward, moving forward from Nabla, getting a lot of spam in, and that will be a recapture for the side of Yeye. They are collapsing onto the concrete area, though. Sar Moist gonna drop here. Wet and Jay-Z are traded back before Figsy goes down in cleanup to Kura Beast. Some kills have traded either ways, but point gets capped up, and Ray's still alive to charge.
Really good on Yeye to avoid that product leapfrog there, where they're able to force out Ray's Uber, kite it, and then recap without needing to use Sakura's there. So they will now have the point with Uber, which is exactly where you want to be right now. You know, 20 seconds behind on the clock, but that'll even out sooner rather than later, as Ray at 80% should be on Uber soon, but oh, she takes some damage. They take some damage in main there, but yeah, DC is going to be found there, so not too much of a push able to happen right now. Ray up on Uber, but no real way to push yet without DC. And look at this aggro! I love this aggression.
But this positioning is terrible from Froggieland. You just lost your scout and demo man. What are you doing sitting rock with just your heavy? What's he gonna do? They'd get their Uber forced for absolutely nothing there, and just bad positioning from Froggieland is gonna cost them that push.
Yeah, and that's something that it might be a little bit, you know, confusing. Oh, well, there's still even Ubers, you know, if you're not as familiar with higher level strategy. But finding that, you know, getting the attacking team to waste their Uber essentially is exactly what you want as a defending team. It's a lot harder to dry push there. But
she's worked again.
Yeah, Yeye gonna find DC and Ray. Tons of kills on the side of Froggieland as well. It's about a 3v3 or 4v4 right now. Shout out to UGC. But it looks like Yee's actually going to be forced back off of that because, you know, trading even will benefit the attacking team. They do have a big time advantage and a big Uber advantage, however.
Froggieland must have tilted really hard after that play because they stopped checking for Yeye there, and he got the window kill again, even though that cheese kind of stopped working before. So I feel like they just really were not a big fan of the series of events where they just lost players and lost their Uber. They are going to recapture here, but there's a full Uber pushing into them. DC is popped up and taken down. Jeebus doesn't find anything on his decloak, and Figgsy's going to get caught out here in the connector. Will get out a bit further, but not all the way. Dotwet does go down to Rebel for that extra chase. Nick going to go down to Michael PC1, posted here, doing tons of work. Rebel trying to contest as much as he can, but the cap is going to go over. It's 5 seconds. They need to sack in. Froggieland have to get onto the point now. Rebel is tanking Beam, but there's a mini shutting him down, a heavy as well, with Natasha. Gets crit out of the air by Austin's shotgun, and that will be round 2 in favor of Yeye. Froggieland, just inconsistent play and bad decisions are costing them big time.
I think it's very interesting right now that both snipers are essentially bottom scoring here. Just very
it's such an aggressive game.
Yeah,
snipers like having a chance to get set. The biggest we've seen is Michael PC1 has set up a couple times as turret and been able to shut people down. We've seen a couple times SAR as well has been able to find some good fadeaways, but for the most part this game has been completely decided by combo play.
Yeah, and I do want to check the logs here to get, a little bit better of an idea of exactly who was doing a lot right there. And looking at the class by class comparisons, I'm not noticing that much of a difference. If anything, it looks like Catalyst is having a big impact. We see Yeye with 5 more kills than Jeebus. Those are definitely going to be coming in big. Slight advantage for Michael. More deaths coming out of Sakura even too. So again, I think it's the aggression we saw out of Yeye is something that you can't really quantify in the logs that well. Because, that Uber they took into Froggieland when Froggieland was on Rock, when you were saying they only had the heavy there, that was such good play.
I'll tell you the most important stat here, and that's the scouts. We know scouts are one of the most important classes in Highlander, and keeping your scout alive and making sure your scout can output constant pressure and damage is crucial, especially on product. Rebel right now has 350 DPM compared to Dotwet's 236, right? So 114 more DPM. The problem is Rebel has died twice as much. I've seen Rebel get dropped before every push. It's either him getting sniped because he's in like a weird position, he gets dropped because the beam isn't on him. Something is happening in these pre-fights where Rebel's not actually able to impact the posts. And when your scout isn't there to clean up damage, you're not going to win these post fights. Rebel is playing phenomenally when he's able to stay alive, but he's died way too much. He's 3rd most deaths on his team right now, and that's behind Spy and Soldier, which is terrible for Scout. Like, just frankly putting it out there, your Scout needs to live. Your Scout needs to output pressure. Rebel just needs more support. He needs to make sure he doesn't die in these pre-pushes. If he can stay alive more, he'll be able to carry this game, but he's just not been able to stay alive at crucial points.
Yeah, very good observation there. And again, we mentioned Scout, Demo, Sniper, right? Snipers are kind of both not doing too much. The demos are fairly even, but it kind of falls down to, you can almost say, Rebels, untimely deaths showing up big there. It's like what we saw with Hood versus 3600, where Hood had been struggling in the beginning of that match on Lakeside with Bull just consistently dying. When your key classes aren't there in the big moments where they need to be, it really throws off everyone else on your team. So I think that kind of paints not necessarily easy, but an obvious fix maybe is to just have Rebel stay alive more, forehead,
And there is like a shot calling issue with this. Like, I really wonder who's doing most of the main calling on product for the side of Froggieland, because we saw them at the end of that first round. If they would have just Ubered on point and tried to deny space before Yeye could even get there, Rebel would have gotten an Uber on him, right? Because he got dropped in the pre there. Like, that's one of the reasons they lost that final push. They would have gotten Rebel with an Uber on him. They would have gotten an early Uber with forced flashes from Yeye, and they would have ended with position advantage. But I don't know who's calling, if no one said they wanted to take an aggressive stance, if they said we kite this out as good as we can and people just didn't listen and try to dodge damage. But either way, there was just a lack of combo focus there from the side of Froggieland, and it costs them big.
I don't want to change the subject here, Zag, but you've known me for a while. You know I can be extremely petty, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's 10, as of 10 p.m., Hood Naruto has already finished their 4-0 of Shovel, so...
Nice, I'm sure that no caps went in favor of Shovel in that.
I think the first round was 6 minutes, the next 2 were sub 4.5. in favor of Hood Naruto. So
that game's over. We're still here. Granted,
that's why we're in this match.
This match could still end 4-0. Just
it
in
could,
a way we didn't expect.
Exactly.
But, like, there's still more to glean from this, right? Because these teams are fighting for playoffs. Like, your season is pretty much on the line here. Granted, we could see some interesting things next week. Or Froggieland, they might be able to take some upset rounds against Hood Naruto. You know, it's kind of a stretch, but either way, they're like, this is the easiest chance both these teams have, the best chance they have to close out a playoff spot.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure of the match points, but should Yeye win this, both teams will be 3-3, with Froggieland having to play Hood Naruto on Steel and Yeye having to play somebody else.
At the very least, Froggieland need rounds here. Froggieland need to get some match points onto the board, because if they don't, they stay at their current match points, which I'm going to bring up the table real quick while we wait. We have about 30 seconds. Froggieland have 10 points, Yeye have 5.33. If this goes 4-0, Yeye are 8.33 to 10, right? So there's a 1.7, about a 1.7 difference. That gets made up on with what, a 2 to on Steel, a 2 to 1. That's what, 2 points to 1. That's not enough. So they would actually have to 2-0, and they would need help from the other side. They would need help from Somebody Help, ironically, because Somebody Help is the final match for Yeye on the final week.
I mean, never doubt XBV players on Steel, if we know one
true.
thing. But we are going live in 10 seconds here. So, Zach, real quick, do you think Froggieland's going to be able to turn it around here?
I think they definitely deserve a round. I think they need to just mental reset and just play like they know they can. Make sure the heavy doesn't cheese them. Try to keep Rebel alive, and they do have a very good standing here. They just need to make sure they are able to capitalize.
Yeah, Kura going to be very, very fast into mid. That is insanely quick. DC going to be walking up through lobby. Big bomb out of Nabla. The teams have switched colors here. But Moist and Ray going down right away. Any mental reset is going to be in danger here as this patented Yeye aggression coming out here. Jay's going to find, or Jay-Eazy's going to find Figsy in the backline. Sar does win the SVS here, but too little too late as his team is routed. And Yeye's going to be positioning themselves here for a quick potential third round.
Yeah, Ray's just victim there of Demo Man walking at you while Soldier is bombing you. Ray took a rocket from the Soldier, and, you know, she looks up to try and dodge the incoming bomb and just gets stickied from the front. So all the pressure that Yeye have right now, all the forward aggression, is just causing Froggieland to be completely collapsed on at all points. They really just need to be able to take space as a team, you know, fight some of this pressure with pressure of their own, because if they're not, they're just going to keep getting routed like this.
Yeah, but Michael will go down again. Sar fighting the second SVS win of this still young round. Kura playing forward, trying to get damage. The Uber will come out. Kura's in really deep into product. Jay finds Jay-Z, finds Ray back behind house. Perfect synchronization there between the demo and the spy. Yeah, DC looking like you might want to sack, but aborts it and still goes down to Dotwet. Yeye will go down to Moist walking across point, but Rebel and Figsy both going to go down. Sakura barely taking any damage there. And it only looks like he's been improved themselves over the half as, Nabla going in, gonna find Nick, abandons the kill onto Sar, but there is Kura coming in for the alley-oop. I feel like that play should have been punished a little bit more, but they get away with it.
You really can't. You lost 4 players to the sack. That's what happens when you don't get anything, you don't get too many kills. They only lost Heavy for that one on the side of Yeye, so Kura able to bomb forward and get some cleanup, and that will stall for a bit longer. Sakura now on 80% to raise 40. Did Ray go down again?
No, Ray got stabbed out
She
of the
must
Uber.
just had no one been charged.
Yeah.
Because they should have more than 50% here with that sack.
Yeah, you'd think so, because they went down, she went down right about when the Uber came out, so you'd expect a 20-30 disad, not a 40-50, but good damage coming out from Kura, playing really aggressive in main, and again, just feels like these places are the team, not the heavy and the team.
The heavy too.
Are playing and could be countered right now, but they're not, and it's working out wonders for them since they're getting away with this really aggressive positioning whenever the Uber comes out.
Yeah, that's 5 kills went over to Froggieland before this Uber. As long as they can get players out, they do lose DC, Figsy, and Moist, but they should have enough in post, especially with Ray staying alive, to kind of walk forward here. Catalyst is in, gets a bunch of damage, gets help from the Sar to clean up Sakura. Michael gets one back, but that is the first successful push of the half for Froggieland, able to keep enough players alive and get this capture up. Ray staying on 100% Uber while they kill Sakura is big. If they want to mount a comeback, this is the circumstances they need.
Right, I mean, again, though, Yeye has 2 minutes off the clock. You're fine with that, even if they do have full disad right now. Ray sitting in pocket, needing to hold on to this, and Sar gonna find Pyrus on China. Weird Weird scenario there is Michael peeking on the sheet metal looking for
They're sacking
anything.
him. Jay-Z's going in. They're trying to find Ray, and Jay-Z finds the easy drop there. No one looking for Ray on that sack. Easy one gonna go over for Yeye there, as now they're trying to get some kills. Counter sack coming in. Moist gets stabbed by Jay-Z. Somehow he gets out and gets a 2K. Meanwhile, Yeye unable to answer. So DC will get one in return, but that's just disaster for Froggieland. That sack play always comes in when you're at full Uber advantage, and they just weren't ready for it.
Yeah, and I want to, Yeye was just kind of Wing through connector onto the enemy team's concrete, and he ended up going down, but just that aggression is what I love seeing out of Yeye. I don't think it's always the most well-advised, where, if this is against Hood, right, maybe it's not working as well, but this isn't Hood. And when you play aggressive like this, it forces the other team to respond to you. It forces them to make the better play. And Froggieland's shown themselves to be incapable of doing that for 2 rounds now, so they're keeping it up, and they've got no reason to stop.
Right now, Michael PC1 standing on top of this rock. He will get stickied off by DC. That's some good spam coming in. The rest of the Froggieland combo is dropping off this cliff, trying to get some damage moving forward. 12 seconds left on the clock as the SAR's on a 5K. Nobble gonna go down as well, though DC gonna go down to Kurabeast. Great play by Kurabeast to get forward and get damage. Galwet coming in with some cleanup. It's 5 people alive right now for Yeye. They are getting kited back. They have to get people out. Soccer is on their retreat with Kurabeast, so at least Froggieland get this one, and they keep Ray alive once again, so they get the recap. Overtime has hit right now for Yeye. One more capture, they go up 3 rounds. SAR is ahead, trying to get a forward pressure, but Ray has Uber now once again. They need to make sure they actually get Uber off.
Yeah, just Moist walking across caution there just had so much space and forced everyone on Yeye to just say, alright, we gotta give this up. But the sack coming in, Nobble will get, and Nobble and Kuro will get the force off. Tons of kills going over to Froggieland's side right now, but Sakura is back safe in spawn with about a 60% Uber head, so sack successful for Yeye yet again.
Yeah, at that point you just have to be better at denying sacks. There's no really anything else to say from that. Your medic can choose to try and not force, but if they drop, it's complete disaster instead of just a manageable disaster. But either way, Froggieland lose that Uber ad. They now have to defend for a minute 10 at Uber dis ad.
Right at 95.
Yeah, SAR goes down as well. This push is already looking good for Yeye. They're going to walk forward. Jeebus, if he can find something here, that'd be big. Trying to go, he does not get anything. Jeebus going to go down. Yeye does die, but Moitz is traded. Free Uber out now for the side of Yeye. Trying to clean up these sackers. Trying to get any pressure, but capture going to go in favor of Yeye. And that will be the 3-0 start for Yeye. One more round will close out the 4-0. Crucial for their playoff hopes.
Need a reverse sweep for my pred to be right here.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's looking likely though, because Yeye looks firmly in the driver's seat.
Kirby's rollout, like what stickies he chooses. He just chooses one big sticky all the way onto the point. DC actually matching this time. He wants to go aggressive. He realizes they need more space. Gonna try and walk forward, get some damage. He does need an arrow here, but here's Yeye walking point all together as a team once again.
Yeah, Noblo leading the flank on a goose chase. Pyrison so aggro right there, but Ray will go down. Noblo coming in back from behind, and tons of frags on both sides here, but Yeye have the numbers. Rebel playing on point will stall their push a little bit, but Yeye pushing through connector. Gonna find that mini. Noblo jumping forward to help clear it out. SAR back of cliff, not gonna be able to do anything. And, unless we see a really fast recontest, SAR will find Austin, slacking on point. I wasn't sure what word I wanted to say there, but the mid will go in Yeye's favor here, and it's just been, the same old story, really.
Okay, so at the end of this game, Kirby's stats are going to look amazing because it's Demo Man on Viaduct. That's just how things work. But he's getting so much support from his team. We saw in mid there, Pyrus literally just WM1s into the enemy combo, does tons of damage, applies the healing reduction, and just makes space for Kurabeast. And Kurabeast is so free to do what he wants. Not that free, though. You can't walk out without your team. You need your team there. The stats won't say that one. But they will drop the Demo Man, get Uber 4. So that is a good play from Froggieland. If they're able to regroup and get their team together, they'll be able to repush this.
Yeah, they will find picks onto 3, though. Kura's, was that first one, but still not having respawned, and Froggieland should come back in with the cap here much quicker than the 2 minutes or so, a minute and a half faster than the first cap in the last round. Puts them in a much better spot here, right? Also having ad over Sakura should help this hold be a little bit stronger, but feels like anytime Yeye wants to sack, or, wants that force...
Nick was AFK on the clip.
I saw that, yeah.
And they're gonna lose Figsy as well. That's 2 down. No Pyro means Soldier's free to go in. Nabla will get some damage off, but he does get cleaned up early. Ray is pretty far out here. They're trying to keep the Uber. Jay-Z is found out by Catalyst. Good find there by the Soldier. And now they're gonna be able to pop Uber in. 2-man Scout Demo Man. DC flying over the top does get a catch. Don't actually get any kills though. Austin will finally clean up. There's Rebel coming in. Gets 5. Gets a ton of cleanup. Will die for it, but those 3 kills, you'll take that for now. So good play by them, but they aren't able to get Sakura.
Yeah, Catalyst, coming in, trying to maybe find Sakura. Will end up just cycling around, though.
Michael.
Gets Michael, though, yeah. But yeah, that push from Froggieland could have been disastrous if they got caught overextended, but they smartly backed out when they needed to, realizing that hard chasing wasn't entirely necessary. Good catch!
1 HP. Holy.
Great catch onto Kura as Moist will go down, Figsy as well. But you will trade those 2 classes, as well as DC finding Austin and Nabla, to keep the leapfrog going.
Kirby's has been 10 HP this entire fight. He still is. He will manage to get back and get healed, but Yee's left alone as a result. No support coming in. Dogwood, though, he's in. He gets a 5k of his own. Cleans up right on the back end and is still causing chaos here. Will get out with his life, so great play from the scout of Yeye, and they are able to stay holding this with that medic advantage.
Yeah, Kura getting forward. Michael, Sakura, and Kura all going down immediately. Jeebus finds 2, DC finds the other. Nick, Jeebus and Catalyst gonna be the trades back, so only a 4 for 3, despite all of that, but it is more than enough for Froggieland to reclaim this point. This round much closer, yeah. Waiting for Catalyst to get back up here before they cap that. Not sure if you have those 7 or 8 seconds to burn
I
here,
think
but
waiting for the 3 forwards was good. Catalyst was too much. Either way, they are going to get the players up and recap. Kirby's going down as well as Michael, so Sar finally posting up and getting surprise headshots onto Dotwet as well. Buff going to save that scout, but right now Sar is a big deal standing on this rock. Jay's going to be looking for him soon. Jeebus finds Nabla as well, so pick class is doing big work right now.
yeah, those extra few seconds don't really matter when your sniper is able to just immediately delete 2 people and do a lot of damage onto a 3rd right here, but he is starting to walk forward here. Jeebus will find Michael again, as Sar finds Pyrus, so bit of a turn from Froggieland. Yeah, is Jeebus going to find anything? No!
Jay-Z missed 2 stabs and still got a 3rd off. No one was spy checking, and free drop comes in for the spy of Yeye.
But Jeebus finds Sakura, though, all the way in the back line, or that's Catalyst, excuse me, yeah.
So
Jeebus finds Nabla, so, was that a How Long heater I heard?
I think it was.
It is.
If anyone recognized that sound, it's you, and it is Yeye running it. Who else? So, I mean... really chaotic past 30 seconds, but in the end, both medics have died.
But Jeebus coming in, is he gonna... No, Pyrus catches him just in time. But, yeah, we will start to see the walk forward here coming out of Yeye. They're coming in the sacks, they will find Rebel, but Nabla and Kura both going down, though. Way more frags on the side of Froggieland right here, and they will continue to hold this. And, it seems like he's not able to, pull that sack magic anymore, and they're struggling a little bit because of that.
Yeah, Nabla was alone there on that sack. Ray did a good job of dodging. They do spot out Jay-Z on his decloak, so he has to go another time later. Repush now coming in for Yeye. 80% for Ray with 5 seconds on the clock. If Ray's able to get this Uber, they'll be in a good position here. Ray is charging, trying to find if there's a soldier on Cliff. Nabla gets taken down as does Jay-Z. Good counter force from Catalyst. Now it's 100% Uber for Ray. They can go here. They need to get Rebel onto the point. It's 90% for Sakura. They just need to clean up, but they don't want to go. They're just going to say we need to wait for people. I can respect that. They're waiting for DC, but no, they're going to go anyway after the cap goes off. I can't think of why you want to do that, but they are going to pop here. Counter force out here from Yeye. Kirby's taking a solo. Does big damage to Ray. Ray surfing that back. There's Sar, though. A big 6k onto Dawet. Pyrus going down as well. The counter collapse is in from Froggieland. They get their spawners up and they get control of the point back. Desperation in this round for Yeye. Sakura is arrowing, trying to find anything, but that will be the cap up, and that will be 3-1. Froggieland taking their first of the match.
Waiting for the cap before Ubering in isn't the worst idea because it flips the spawns back, so any trades you take will automatically go back in your favor, and with only 1 second left, that's effectively overtime. So they're able to, ensure that they ended up winning the fight regardless, right? Yeah. So it doesn't really matter.
I can see it, but they had such a big advantage they probably didn't know, and they also had position on point. Either way, they are able to win that one, so props to Froggieland for bringing it back. We will roll out in here into the 5th mid.
DC going for the passive rollout again as Nabla accidentally hits Jeebus with a rocket. Catalyst going in for a big bomb to hit Kura, and there is Jeebus in on the backline, finding Yeye. Dawet gonna go down next, and it is all Froggieland this mid as they find 6 unanswered kills here. Sakura will make it out, which is the saving grace right here for Yeye, but backs against the wall, Froggieland is showing what they're made of.
Yeah, that is the first time we've seen this match where the aggression got thoroughly punished from the side of Yeye. They had a lot of players die early, and there was actually counter-aggression from the side of Catalyst that made a lot of space for his team. So when you're able to deny the aggression and put forward a distraction of your own, we see Froggieland are able to take space. They do get that mid-cap, and Michael PC1 frags out a couple kills early.
Jay-Z finds DC. That was not the first stab, and Sar goes down as well. That is just sloppy play right there. The Uber will be popped out onto Moist, but with a good air blast coming out of Pyro, Sakura will not have to use. So, best case scenario for Yeye right here. They'll even up this clock in no time, and they're sitting on full ad right here. Ray only on 5%.
Was Spy and Invite always like this? I feel like back when I played, you can stab someone, walk over for 4 seconds and stab someone else, but either way, Jay-Z taking advantage of a lack in attention from Froggieland, gets those 2 kills. Now we see Froggieland trying to walk forward here. Sakura is on full Uber, so they need to get this force out eventually. Rebel DC pressuring right side point. Moist goes down early, so no Heavy able to walk up. Counter Uber, or first Uber is out there, trying to Uber forward. Sakura, Ray completely caught on the back out. Sticky's on her feet, gonna take her down. Jeebus gonna get a kill back onto Michael though, so these spawns are longer. Dotwet as well, losing that Scalpy Scout. And now Rebel DC, Sar are aggressive here. Austin walks up the Sar, takes him down. Austin is still in this backline, gonna fight Nick. Nick gonna take him. Oh no, Austin actually shredding. Gets 2. Will go down in the end though, and the point hasn't been captured quite yet. Jay-Z will go down stalling for a bit longer, but yeah, that prolonged push goes in favor of Froggieland, and they even get the kill onto Sakura, courtesy of Jay-Z. Jeebus.
Yeah, no, there's a really good bomb coming out of Catalyst, but Sakura hit an even nicer serve. But Jeebus is just waiting on China, able to drop down and revolver her right before she escaped back into main spawn. So, where that leads us is about a 40% ad right now for Froggieland, but a slight time disad right here. Jeebus is behind right now. Gonna have to see if he can drop down onto Michael here. That'll really help stall this. He's hovering in the area. Not yet really committing to go for anything, as Pyrus is giving some good protection.
Jay-Z goes on DC and finds an easy pick. Michael PC is betrayed from the other Spy, so both teams getting 1 pick class kill. But Kirby's goes down to Sar there, so the Devilman disadvantage is negated. Austin gets walked at, and now pressure is had. Jay-Z's on point trying to find Ray. Oh, but he misses the stab this time. Not going to get another chance like he has before, and he will go down. Naba going to go down on his sack as well. Dotwet's the last person alive on this point. They're going to have to back out, and there's a successful hold for Froggieland.
Yeah, just, again, good play coming out of them. It feels like a lot of the... I don't know exactly what to call it, but the aggression that, the counterable aggression from Yeye is being countered. And we're seeing why some of those plays aren't, the meta here. Because when they get shut down, you're just feeding kills over to the enemy team. Nabla in really deep, though, as the Uber comes out, but Sakura, caught in main, will go down to Jeebus, continuing to have a phenomenal match for himself right here. And again, they get the Uber and they find a couple of kills, so maybe they will be able to dry this with Catalyst, Nick, and Jeebus all down right there. Rebel getting hit low as well.
He's stayed alive, that's so crucial. Rebel right now is 45 points on the scoreboard, highest of any combat class, so just not medics. And he's on an 8k. Rebel has not died in forever, and this is exactly what I said. If Rebel's able to stay alive and keep pressuring, he's able to carry this game. So he's done a much better job of that. DC for the 2nd consecutive fight that was gotten backstabbed.
And Nabla in behind finds the kill onto Sar, gonna continue to cause
Rebel's
chaos
10K.
in the backline as everyone on Yeye. Moist will get chased out. Ray barely living with about 30 health back in spawn. Regen up a little bit, but the point comes back in favor of Yeye. Should be even Ubers by the time any pushes actually happen, I would imagine, but slight ad for Ray at the moment.
Rebel goes down there, but he's been playing so well. Like, there he cleaned up the soldier and Spy and ran his medic out, so Ray's going to keep Uber because of that. They are going to be able to pressure forward. They get this heavy out of the house. Yeye going to get that cheese kill into Rebel, ending his 10k, but now we'll see both teams on 100% Uber. Kirby's is forward here, and he's going to get a sticky kill onto Sar. DC trying to match him, but DC's been backstabbed so often. And speaking of, Jay-Z's in here trying to get the decloak. Okay, there's an engineer shooting at him. Why isn't Ray turning around?
That might be a effective season-ending drop coming out of Jay-Z there. Gonna throw all the momentum back in the favor of Yeye, and the player Yeye standing so aggro on point, but without heals, no one on Froggieland's gonna be able to really contest him right here. Him and Catalyst getting into a bit of a beef, but he will jump out. Good arrow from Sakura, able to keep him alive right there through that rocket splash, as Ray back up on 30%. Will have enough time for this Uber, but will likely want to go before then. At least try to do something to get Sakura's Uber out, as he kind of needed, not a miracle, but a low
need
probability play.
consecutive good plays to happen for you, and they will get some. Michael and Yeye both go down, so no pick classes. They do force Uber out. DC unable to surf out, gets Crater at the end. They do at least have Ray out to spawn, so they'll be able to repush here with heals. They are going to lose all their players forward though. They'll have to get all their spawners up, and Jeebus isn't there, so Ray hasn't charged. Ray's dead again. Dalwet chases her to spawn, and that one's going to end the game. That's over. We're going to see Froggieland drop here 1-4. Yeye going to take this win here. They just need to defend on point. There's no chance. They can't get there in time. And yeah, that's the 4-1 for Yeye.
Well, your 4-1 pred was right.
Yeah, just wrong team.
Yeah, just the wrong team.
I'm gonna rip my hair out seeing the spy play and like how it's being countered in right nowadays. The engineer is literally shooting at your spy, who is essentially spawn decloaking your medic. Like, no one has anything to do but to walk towards point and look for spies. The spy decloaks essentially in spawn and drops your medic when an engineer is shooting at him. That is just so bad.
Yeah, just... That is...
Like, props to Yeye, right? Because it takes, like, you need to actually understand, like, what a team will do to counter you as spy. Spy is one of the interesting classes where, like, your floor of play is essentially the enemy team's floor of play. Your ceiling of play is their ceiling of play, right? So when a team is going to disrespect you this much, and if you didn't even be able to punish them like that, and Yeye put out the punishment today. He had, what, 3 full drops onto Sakura?
I want to say...
Onto Ray, rather.
Ray had 3 drops in the second half alone. One by Yeye, another by Yeye, and the third by Yeye. One in each round.
I literally told you, 3 drops. If you're going to let your med drop to spies 3 times, you're just not going to win. Like, you just don't win. Yeye pretty much just going to take advantage of that every time, punish you, and win the game for his team.
Yeah, and I mean, we do have logs. Looking at the combined logs... oh yeah, no, these rounds are a little bit off because they switched teams halfway through, but you mentioned the scout deaths. Dotwood only died 12 times in 5 rounds.
Yeah,
which I think is something that we weren't really paying enough attention to. Kura also doing a ton. I think it was a lot more in the second half than the first, but putting out more than 100 DPM over DC there.
It was a much bigger difference because DC kept getting stabbed in the second.
Yeah,
just like he was not alive for like the last round at all.
And I don't want to go too much into team dynamics here, but it is worth noting that, TK, the previous Pyro on Froggieland, did part with the team this weekend. I believe it was either this weekend, sometime, in between matches.
Ringing, essentially, and Figsy might get picked up as the main, but, if their season ends, it won't be for that much longer.
Right, yeah, and you don't want to, not to throw anything at Figsy, but you always wonder, when you change a player who's predominantly in charge of spy checking.
It's just combo dynamics, yeah. Like at that point, like if this team had TK doing most of the spy checking from Pyro, and then you switch to Figsy, who I know likes to play a lot more proactively, will try and make space. All of a sudden, you're lacking a big gap in spy checking. Like you're just gonna eventually get punished for it, and they got heavily punished today by Yeye. And Rebel. 38 kills, nearly 400 DPM on Scout in these combined, right? Like, he nearly tied his Demo Man in DPM overall. It's such a good performance from Rebel, but unfortunately, there's just not much you can do when your team drops to spies 3 times. Like, you're just not getting the Ubers on you that you need to carry.
Froggieland had more kills.
It doesn't surprise me. Rebel had 11, so much cleanup all the time.
They had 11 kills in a 1-4. They had 11 more kills in a 1-4. And I think... we mentioned one of the reasons why that Lakeside match between Hood and 3600 was such a great match was because one of the things that it's very difficult to do, but top teams are able to do it, is make adjustments mid-match, right? We saw that, Hood realized that Bowl was dying because of Adam in Bathhouse, and they were able to change their strategy on the fly to adapt to that. And I feel like that was something that was missing for the majority of this match. Because I'm thinking about so much of what, like, it feels like if we wiped the first 3 rounds away, right, and started playing from that 4th round onward,
0-0.
I think Froggieland might win that. I think Froggieland probably wins a best of 9, right? If they continued to play, I think Froggieland would have gotten better and better over time. Granted, that's not how it works, right? Yeah. So there's no sense in throwing that out. But I think it goes to show that a lot of what Yeye was doing was able to be countered. That wasn't, an effective long-term strategy for them. It's just that right when the heavy holding on enemy concrete strategy
Enemy
got found out.
windowsill. Yeah.
Yeah, Yeye decided to drop a medic 3 rounds in a row, which, is also something that can be adapted to. But that lack of adaptation from Froggieland earlier in the match is what ultimately
it
is
essentially
probably going to
3
sink their
rounds.
season.
Yeah, and we did see at the end there, Froggieland did start to adapt. We saw DC take the aggressive rollout. We saw aggressive plays from Catalyst early to get pressure, and we saw like much better spreading out to avoid like all taking the same damage. But it's just too little, too late. Like, okay, so they took the 1 round, right? If we assume that 0-0 point, they took the first round because they played really well. And they actually managed to adapt. Next round they lost because of just stupid med drops, and if you're gonna leave your like game ending, your season ending round up to random chance where one really beefed round or one crucial misplay is going to cost you, it just means you're too late. You're too little, too late.
Yeah, and I do want to take a look at the standings real quick. My RGL website isn't loading.
Oh, did it update yet?
No, I don't think it did, but we can add the numbers on. We're intelligent enough people. You had said what it was 5.33 for Yeye, 10 for Froggieland?
Yes, that's gonna be a 2.66 to Yeye and a 0.33 to Froggy.
So Froggie's gonna be it already is. Perfect. So
can we get Dolphin? Can you get the league table on real quick before we do our outro and plug? Yeah, he's gonna get the league table up real quick. So right now we see Yeye move up to 8 match points. Froggieland 10.33. They get 1 round there.
That round's actually going to be really big, I think, because now it's a 2.33 difference. So that means that Froggieland's playing Hood next week. So if we're assuming
Froggieland don't get any more match points, this is why we said this is like the playoff deciding match, is because Froggieland have their hardest match of the season next week. Granted, we've seen first seed teams throw on Steel to non-playoff teams before last season. Not gonna name any names, but assuming things go as we expect, Froggieland don't get any more rounds here. That leaves Yeye versus Somebody Help. Somebody Help, by the way, are now eliminated from playoffs as they didn't get enough rounds this week. So it's just Froggieland, Yeye in the running. If Yeye are able to 3-0, or rather 2-0 because it's Steel, if they're able to 2-0 Somebody Help on Steel next week, Yeye will be our playoffs team, unless Froggieland, pull upsets against her Naruto.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that had Froggieland not taken that round right at the end there, we'd be looking at 8.33 versus 10, which means that as it is now, right, again, you need that 3-0 from Yeye for them to make playoffs and the 0-3. Had they not taken that 1 round there, Yeye could have won off of a 2-1 and still made it. So that will end up going, a long way to improve their playoff odds. And to be honest, I'm kind of torn on this, right? Because we saw how well Froggieland played last week against 3600. And 3600 was, I believe, the only team that's taken rounds off of Hood so far.
It's our perceived second place team right now going into playoffs.
And I don't believe how did 3600 versus Yeye go. I know 3600 won, but I'm curious as to the score. 3-0 or 2-0 on upward. So
Yeye took 3600. Yeye have a round off Chinese Shovel though, so that's where that 0.33 comes from actually.
True, yeah. So that again, does that end up coming into play? I don't think it really matters that much. Like it cancels that. I guess it kind of cancels out the round they dropped tonight. But ultimately, you need 3-0 and 0-3 for them to make playoffs. But that is in the cards for them. And had they lost tonight, they just would have been pretty much eliminated. So it's always difficult, right? Because maybe it's only 2 data points we really have, but it seems like Froggieland's a team with very big swings. Whereas last week it felt like they were
like map type dependent, and they might just be weak on Koth. Like who knows, right? Like
that's possible. And I mean, I don't know if TK was playing in that, but they did pull a 4-3 out over Shovel and Scrims this weekend. And I know those are Scrims, and Shovel did not have a great showing tonight against Hood. So there's so many variables that we don't know where exactly to look at it from.
Does this mean next week we're watching Yeye versus Somebody Help?
I think that is our match. I was just thinking earlier today that it didn't look like there were going to be any matches that would matter.
That'd be the only match that matters next week.
Not only do I think that's going to be not only the only match that matters, but probably the closest overall, regardless.
Yeah, so we do have that to look forward to. But yeah, for now, Yeye put themselves in very good position to make playoffs here. All they need is a sweep next week on Steel, and they will be taking this one. Froggieland, they have a hard road ahead of them. They need rounds off Hood Naruto. Unlikely to happen. If that doesn't happen, then their playoff hopes are out of their hands. They need help from Somebody Help.
Oh, can we place a preemptive ban on any jokes of that nature before,
Next week, maybe.
Before next
we'll
week?
discuss that one. But yeah, for now we
No,
can get ready to
I shouldn't
close
even
one
say
out.
that because I'm probably gonna
Yeah,
break
you're
that
gonna
of my
do
own
it.
accord. Yeah, as
It's a good one too. We deserve to use it.
oh help.
Yeah, but
But
that'll
yeah,
be it for tonight.
I'm gonna sleep real comfy tonight, knowing that we picked the correct match to cast. As
Yeah, Mr. Petty Man.
got a shitty grin on right now, like you wouldn't believe. As yeah, that will do it from us. So big
Merch.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, we got to advertise the merch. Zag, I'll let you do that.
God. You can get the latest and greatest Team Fortress 2 drip to show off to your friends from the RGL merch store. I've been prompted to say that via big red bold text in the document. From the RGL merch store, exclamation point merch in chat features amazing designs such as Minimalist Sunshine, Overgrown Scattergun, and the newly introduced Witness Gaming merch to celebrate their invite win last season over Froggieland. So all the proceeds go to our hardworking designers, teams, prize pools, and us here on the desk, including Dolphins. So if you want to support us, make sure to check that out. Exclamation point merch in the chat once again. And thank you for supporting RGL.
And also, I don't know if we have anything set up for it, but I was asked to help plug the Witness Gaming fundraiser, as Witness Gaming, the winners of the past Sixes season, having dethroned Furio, have plans of showing up at the Copenhagen 2022 LAN, I believe it is. And since flying an entire team of TF2 players overseas is not a cheap endeavor by any means, Witness is currently running a fundraiser. Not sure if I have the link for that, but I know that it is somewhere on the forums at the very least. Yeah, Dolphins got us. Put it in chat. So check that out if you want to help support your TF2 Sixes champions. Especially if you want to help fuel that NA versus EU rivalry, since I think it's been a while since we've had an NA team at a European LAN. So definitely check that out if you are so inclined. And before we call things out, I do want to give a quick shout out to Amigos, winners of Challenger? We had Challenger last season, right? Yes, we did. Challenger last season, getting their first win in Invite today against Train Station 4-0. So good on them. Happy for them to get a dub in the books. But again, other than that, I think that'll do it. So Zag, any final words?
Not really. We said a bunch in this post match, but yeah, congratulations to Yeye putting themselves in position for playoffs. Froggieland, rough night. They are going to be looking forward to next week, seeing if they can potentially take those upset rounds off of Naruto. Otherwise, they're just going to be hoping and praying.
Yep, hoping and praying what it may come down to. But again, that'll do it for us. So I believe we'll have Sixes matches later in the week. Not entirely sure what the schedule is on that. I know there's been one scheduled, I think. Okay, we don't know anything. So, yeah, definitely, check the regular sources for that, but it should be at least one or two, I would imagine. So, until then, though, wish you all a good week. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.